Okay, this is Esports Extra, the only live call-in esports and traditional sports show on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and Facebook. We'll take your phone calls, 877-853-5247. The meeting ID, Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872. Larry Ridley here from SNY TV, Madden, NFL, NBC Sports, NBA 2K League. Amon, as they would like to say, because that is sort of Jamaican, right? We'll go ahead and bring in everybody. Durbin, you are muted. Let's go ahead and bring in the crew here. We got the nice 4-box rolling. We got Kevin Mamuzet, Compete Forever, back behind, punishing all of the right buttons. Keep it pushing back there, Coach K. Durbin, you in
Yes, sir.
Brooklyn, where you at?
I'm right here. And the curfew's been lifted here in New York.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, baby.
So I feel good because I had to run out late last night and I saw the cop on the corner. I just glad he didn't grab me because it was after 8. But we're all good in here in New York City, the Big Apple.
Yes, sir. OG Ivan Curtis, what up, man?
Hey man, I'm just happy to be back, man. I feel revived and fresh and stressful week, but it was a good week, so I'll take it. But glad to be back.
Hey man, you woke up kicking and screaming this morning, dude. That's a beautiful day, right? It's a damn good day, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And the baby girl down there, our sis, Nay. Don't call her Shanae. She will fight you.
Shanae.
What up, Renee? What's up, baby?
Oh, nothing. We're good in the A. You know, Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms lifted our curfew last night as well on a Saturday night. So you can imagine what it's like here in the A.
You know the blue flame was last night. Are you kidding me? Waffle House.
Goodness. Yeah, it was popping down here. I think people were popping down here. I think there was a lot going on down here.
All 3 or 4 of the popular locations.
Some magic happened here.
Magic.
What's up, OG? What were you about to say?
I was the Magic City.
Oh yeah, that's the other spot.
He was going with the magic happened. Yes.
The old school folks. Blue Flame has kind of taken over recently. You know. Well, you know, we'll let you know. We'll let you know once.
I have to be down. I have to go down there. I haven't been down there in a minute, so that lets you know how long it's been. So.
Good job. Okay.
Well, hey, if there are any scheduling quirks with the NBA 2K League and there's no tournament that weekend, we got a spot for you. Just saying, we got a spot for you.
Slap.
I don't know.
Hey, we used to have that in the locker room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang.
WNBA players are lit. I'm just telling you, don't sleep on the Women's National Basketball Association. Those girls know how to partay.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That is not a problem that we would say we had.
All right. Good show coming up today, guys. We're talking about the NFL player video. That's going to be coming up here. You look at some of those guys, a great big deal of stars, over a dozen. I believe by my count, 14, 15, or 16 of those guys are lending their voices to the movement here. Breeze, still not so much a breezy day, but he did clap back at Trump a little bit. We're going to get into some of that as well. How about Roger Goodell on a Friday news dump, by the way? Talked about the NFL apology and the wrongs that the NFL doing by the black and African-American football players. How about Greg Popovich? Always been one of the critical voices in the NBA, one of the coaches that will speak out, has some pointed words for his white colleagues out there, and also the president. Kevin Durant will not play this year. We'll talk about KD and see where Brooklyn at right now in the 7th spot in the Eastern Conference. NBA roster plans, they're going to try to expand it. Nothing serious, nothing confirmed yet, but we'll talk about some of the plans they're talking about. The NHL will start working out tomorrow. As soon as tomorrow, that's a big step as they enter phase 2. Major League Baseball, I thought we were talking about no fans, but apparently the state of Texas, they're like, man, we good. Everything big in Texas, baby. That's how they roll in Texas. We'll talk about that. Deontay Wilder, powerful message. I'm talking about that was some good stuff by Deontay Wilder. We will talk about that, man, when we get into that. Damian Hughes, or not Damian, Danon Hughes. I should get that correctly. Danon Hughes. Born right here in Bayonne, New Jersey, where I reside, former Kansas City Chiefs star receiver. We're going to talk to him live and get his thoughts on the athletes, get his thoughts. Also, very important story that came out yesterday, the Iowa football culture. Some news with that and the strength coach being not fired, but on administrative leave right now. We'll talk about that as well. Coach Tom Herman, University of Texas, standing up, man. Great words and a message for the Texas football fans out there. NBA 2K League, we'll talk, of course, the update with OG Ivan Curtis. Also, Madden sending out a statement also in support of the Black Lives Matter movement and all of the people of color that are in the gaming industry that play the great game EA Sports Madden NFL. And also C4 Madden NFL on Black News Channel, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, sir.
Twice yesterday, I already ran today at 11 a.m. and we're back again at 6 p.m. So we'll talk about that, how you can get Black News Channel and things of that nature. Let's go ahead and get started with the NFL videos, guys, with the crew in here. Very great job, very powerful. We're talking about some major star power. We're talking about Ezekiel Elliott. We're talking about Deshaun Watson. We're talking about Patrick Mahomes. We're talking about
what will it take
for one of us to be murdered by police brutality?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd? If I was George Floyd?
I am George Floyd. I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery. I am Eric Garner.
I am Tamir Rice.
I am Trayvon Martin.
I am Walter Scott.
I am Michael Brown.
I am Samuel DeBoer.
Yeah, I
Frank
love
Smart.
to see it. That's been like my phrase right now. You love to see it. You love to see us on Black News Channel yesterday. You love to see it because it takes that. It took LeBron James saying, "I'm
This is what we, the players,
Would like to hear you state.
we,
The National Football League, condemn racism and the systematic oppression of black people.
we, the National Football League,
Admit wrong and silencing our players from peacefully protesting.
we, the National Football League.
Believe Black Lives.
Since George Floyd was
Next step,
brutally
we're showing
murdered.
video, moving pictures, they are moving. I mean, it's in color.
What will it take
for one of us to be murdered?
it's in
Kevin Mabuset, what are you doing back there? I just saw Jamal Adams put the fist up in there. Holy cow. It's a video, OG. Can you believe that? He's doing pictures. That's 1920s. We're doing video, baby.
We here.
Mama, we made it.
We have
evolution.
matching up the video with words. How about that, man? That's freaking a novel idea.
Awesome.
What do you think, OG? No, in all seriousness, though, a very powerful message by those four great NFL players.
While we're talking about themes, it takes moments for us to push ourselves to be great. And in order to do that, you need to educate.
What will it take
for one of us to be murdered by police brutality?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd? If I was George Floyd?
I am George Floyd. I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery. I am Eric
There's a lot
Garner.
going on right now, but it's things we need to talk about, and we need to get it out there. And the only way we can be successful in doing that is to have those tough conversations. But we don't have to talk harsh to one another. Let's put our feelings out there, gain some understanding, and make some changes.
Great message, Derwin. Love it. The unity, very powerful. This is the time. It harkens me back to, as the late great rapper would say, the marathon continues, man. And we are going to continue. We're all running this sprint. Blacks, whites, browns, all of us. You name it. Doesn't matter about your pigmentation or your melanin.
Well, I wouldn't call it a sprint. I think this is a marathon because this is a long way to November. And we have to continue on to the next couple of months. You can't let up, keep going with it. I thought the NFL, those players come out, powerful message, because you had, icons speaking up, people that, fans love and can relate to. They love Patrick Mahomes and OBJ, and having those guys lead the way. Goodell had no choice but to come out with his statement after that, because he has to support the players in their mission.
Since George Floyd was
Yeah, and we're going to
murdered.
definitely get into that.
We need to
I think Jamal Adams, you can tell,
What will it take
for one of us to be murdered by police brutality?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd? If I was George Floyd?
I am George Floyd. I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery. I am Eric Garner.
I am Tamir Rice.
I am Trayvon Martin.
I am Walter Scott.
I am Michael Brown.
I am Samuel DeBoer.
I am Frank Smart.
I'm Philip White. I'm Jordan Baker.
We will not be silenced.
Out there on Friday. I wish it would have come out like on a Wednesday or Thursday, so we had a few more days to talk about it. But you know what? I think it is worth mentioning. Any last thoughts, guys?
You can't stop this freight train.
You love to see it. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it's his time. Like, there's no better time than now. So you love to see it.
Man, good stuff, guys. Really appreciate you paying attention to that. All right, next topic here as we move on. And my list is a little messed up over here. I think we're talking Drew Brees, right? Yeah, Drew Brees.
We are
Drew
talking
Brees, yeah.
Drew
Brees.
Brees. We saw he was on the Yahoo Finance Wednesday or Thursday. Didn't get a favorable coverage, if you will, namely from his teammates. We saw Ed Reed call him a straight sucker. Not once, not twice, not three times, not four times, not five times, 6 times on my count. Call
Oh,
him a
did you
sucker.
really count?
Man, I did. It was the drinking game. You told me, and I was literally only water though. No alcoholic beverages.
Okay,
Only
okay.
water. And then Trump was like, "Oh, great job by Drew Brees. I've always been a fan." And then he claps back like, "No, dude, I'm not taking my message back. I did apologize. It's heartfelt. Look, Brees, he took some heat in New Orleans, man. All those mamas, all those black fans that like him in
Oh
New Orleans.
yeah.
We all know the 504, man, and the Ninth Ward. How that's a black city. Drew
Right.
Brees didn't want that smoke, and he said, "I don't want it. Let me back away." And Trump, I can't be with you. Things have changed, and we're going to talk about this. What do you guys think about kneeling? I think you're going to see a lot more of that.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's coming back.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Regina.
it's
We'll start with you
coming
first.
back.
Yeah.
I was gonna say to Drew Brees' point, like I honestly believe him. So that's the thing you have to do. If people do want to change, you can't be like, no, you said this. So at first when he issued it, I still, now that he knows the issues, I believe that he now knows the issues aren't about the flag. I think he still has the same issues in regards to the flag. He doesn't want to see it disrespected, but I think now he gets it. So for me, that's all you ever want somebody to do. You want them to get it. So now, even through his statement, we did this back in 2017, and regretfully, I brought it back with my comments this week.
Sure
We
did.
must stop talking about the flag and shift our attention to the real issues. I think he really gets it. I don't think that was just typing and making sure. I think he really got it when he said, and I brought it back with my comments. That let me know he got it. So if he gets it, great. Like, I'm happy for that.
And we saw his teammates sort of welcome him back. We saw Michael
Hmm.
Thomas. We just showed the picture with him and Drew Brees. But just the message to President Trump directly, and he added him, real Donald Trump. Very powerful, OG. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times I think we all get torn with apologies, especially when it's public figures, because you figure they say what they really feel, then PR comes behind them and cleans it up. I think a lot of people get those type of thoughts, but for me, I like to give people benefit of the doubt, considering that all we see is words on our phones or on screens. We're not getting the opportunity like some of his teammates to actually have conversations with him, to see where he's at with it and see the actual behavior behind a lot of things. So we don't, everybody doesn't get that access, and that's when you see the true apology in action, not just in the words. So we don't get that, but I definitely hope that he is sincere with his apologies and his words, and we can move forward, because it's going to take change from people like him that look like him to improve a lot of this situation. So I hope he gets it.
Derwin, he talked about we as a white community need to listen. The pain and the suffering the black community has gone through and continue to go through, in my estimation. That was something that I think people go like, okay, Drew, you're starting to get it.
Well, it just kind of tickles me going back to what OG says. Like, I don't believe, so a guy makes a statement that erases his character or who he's been all these years. I always thought Drew Brees was a stand-up guy, stand up in his community.
Done a lot in the community.
He
You
done
gotta
a lot
give
in
him credit for
community,
that.
and
Absolutely that.
you
He
know
can still be tone deaf though.
yeah, he got killed. He got killed for his statement, and then he thought about it. He went back. I think he's sincere. And I was watching Don Lemon the other night. Don Lemon, CNN. He's from New Orleans,
Louisiana. Yep.
and he talked about his mama,
You're daggone right.
who always wears a Drew Brees jersey on Sundays. She was like, nah. She was like, nah,
Yeah.
Drew. She had a problem with Drew.
She'll
But,
probably start rocking that Alvin Kamara jersey. By the way, he said he's gonna kneel.
but Drew Brees is the right person, the face of the white community in the NFL, to really speak up and say something. So I think, he's going to help lead the charge. He's going to help from that side to help get people on board. But I definitely think that Nealon's going to come back this season. And
Absolutely.
Goodell and the owners, there's nothing they're going to be able to do about it. And they're going to have to handle it better the second time around.
Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Pete Carroll. We're starting to see the white colleagues come out. Even the college coaches. We'll get into some of that here a little bit later. How important is that? We talked about it last week ad nauseum, but we'll keep bringing it up. I've reached out to some of my colleagues, tweeted it out publicly. white people, come on, get in this fight with us. We need
Yeah.
you. You're welcome. This is
Yeah.
home for you guys.
Right.
Join us. If you really want to be a band of brothers, come on, white people. We love you. You can
Right.
get in this fight with us, right? You guys want to comment on that about how important it is to have, our white Anglo-Saxon Protestant?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's why the movement is as strong as it is. If you just looked and you saw only black people or only one race or only one group fighting for one thing, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that's the Black Lives Matter group. But when you see everyone, the Amish, white people, just different cultures, different, just all walks of life coming together, then you realize how big of an issue it is. So absolutely, we need everybody to join in. This is an everybody issue. So that's what everybody gets now. It's not a one race issue. It's an everybody issue. I think there's a quote, what injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So everyone should realize that if there's an oppressed group, you could be next and it's not okay.
Yeah, and final thoughts, and we'll let Derwin and OG get on here. But we always talk about this. You know, we've bared this burden for what 400 years, 401 years, I guess,
Yep.
since what Virginia when we got here in 1619 as an enslaved people. It's not our problem, guys. We white people, you are the majority party here, the majority people. You got to sort of fix this and come up with a solution to this. We can't come up with all the solutions. We are the oppressed. We're the minority party. Does that make sense? Like when we sort of convey that message to them?
Yeah, and I think they're beginning to hear it a little bit, especially with social media, and you see some of the videos, Central Park, the white lady in Central Park, just making up a fabrication story about how she was being attacked, and now everyone can see it now. So it's right there in front of us. And last night I was asking my wife, and I was thinking about this, the situation that happened in Atlanta, where the young man lost his life, where the father shot him as he was tussling with his son.
Brunswick, Georgia. Yes.
Right.
Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I said, well, what was the difference with that? Because we didn't get an uprising with that, even though people were upset. But this situation, I think it was because the video was so close, you could hear the man's voice.
Yep.
And it was a police officer doing it.
Yes.
And it was clear as day. There's no defending that.
With
Everybody
people
can
saying,
see
dude,
it.
what are you doing? The man's dying, and he called out for his mama, and it's like, you still gonna keep your hand in your pocket? And it looked like a daggone smirk on his face. I don't care what anybody says or whatever.
And now it's like, this is a major thing, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
All right, good stuff, guys. We'll keep the conversation moving. We were talking about kneeling a little while ago. Roger Goodell on a Friday. Wasn't surprised by this. But look, we will give the NFL some credit. They are coming back to the party. They were a little late 4 years ago. We saw Colin Kaepernick in 2016 start the kneeling during preseason in August. So we're almost 4 years to the day here. The NFL, they admitted that they're wrong. And that's, look, I don't take that lightly. That's a major thing. That's part of the steps of, to coming back and the steps of grief and things of that nature. So they did admit some wrongdoing and they did apologize, and they are standing with the black players. You got 70% of them that are African American.
Yeah.
And also there's a rebuke of President Trump. I think the NFL is saying, all right, we're changing parties here. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I mean, so first, there's the statement by Roger Goodell. However, the problem is you do have a lot of owners that may have different views than what he put out there. But
you will have some. Absolutely. Jerry Jones.
You know what I mean? So you will have some owners that still are going to feel strongly about what they feel. However, I do think it's a big step for the commissioner to say, we, the NFL, believe Black Lives Matter. Because, I mean, we're going to get into it later, but Greg Popovich said, like, powerful figures have to say that. Like, they have to say those 3 words because you have to show that you really mean it. And saying Black Lives Matter out of your mouth will help us believe it. Again, if we're asking for change, I want to make sure that I believe people when they want to change. So if somebody's saying I'm trying to change, and everybody's like, no, you're like, no, you're not, they're probably going to be like, forget it, I'm not going to change then if everybody's going to believe me. So if the NFL wants to change, it is welcomed. And they were on CP time, but thank you for welcoming me to come to the party. Okay.
Well, if you're going to talk about, African Americans, you might as well be on CP time. Right?
I mean, they are.
Just makes sense, right?
Yeah.
OG, your thoughts, National Football League getting on the right side of this thing, finally.
My thoughts I mean, they still like, they on the outside of the fence at a cookout. Like, man, it's still, I mean, I'm deeply feeling what Renee said about, when we ask for acknowledgement and somebody's willing to forget, to apologize, we have to have some room and leeway to show some type of forgiveness. I mean, because we gotta admit, sometimes we're bad for that. Like we want
Oh yeah.
somebody to feel our pain, and we want somebody to acknowledge different things. And then if they make any type of effort, now we still being skeptical. And like at some point we can't keep doing it. Like we have to give them a chance. But like I said, it's still kind of on the outside of the gate.
Having said all that,
yeah, I mean, because it's like I want it to be, because we know that once the season starts, I without a doubt, to me, everybody who looks like us is going to be on the knee. Like I just can't think any other
everybody.
way.
Everybody.
Yeah, I do. I do.
I don't know about everybody.
So do you think
see more
Russell
than
Wilson?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be everybody.
No,
but,
I'm the majority. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I feel like
that.
in moments like this, it's like it takes certain people to do things, and then some other people feel inspired to do so as well. I mean, I'm be going overboard if I said everybody. I'm saying, but the majority.
Yeah.
I mean, because even I had to look in myself, deep down inside myself, because I'm a figure in what I do. And at first, I had never really spoke out publicly about my feelings on a lot of different
touched everybody. I'm with you on that.
So like now, I don't even think about hitting like and retweet. I don't even think about hitting tweet or send. I mean, so I took that example for myself, and I think it's going to trickle down from a lot of people, because it's too many things. It's hurting a lot of people. I mean, the more and more videos you see every day, more and more news you get every day, like you can't help but to say something.
Yeah, Derwin, your thoughts? NFL.
Couple of thoughts.
Coming back, man. Yeah.
One, I believe that Goodell doesn't say anything without getting okay from the owners. He works for the owners.
The majority of them.
He works for the owners. So he had to get an okay that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stand with we're going to stand with the players and support them. Now, am I crazy to think that we know that some people are going to kneel, but this movement has been so powerful. We see so many walks of life join this movement. Am I crazy to think that there could be a situation where kneeling becomes a regular thing for all the teams?
I was going to ask you that, especially maybe even a majority. Let me know. I'll let you know when you're in the barbecue. Pookie and Ray and them will give you an invitation. We'll let you have some Kool-Aid and everything. When the white quarterbacks.
Well, listen,
that's what I'll say. Whoa, we've hit a turning point.
Well, maybe we might see the New Orleans Saints as a team, 52 members, and the coaches all take a knee.
And not during or before the end.
No. I'm talking about during the anthem.
Well, how
because
about this?
Now
the NFL has a rule now that they passed a year or two ago now.
But hey, that could be changed.
I either break it with everybody or change it. Exactly. I want to see that.
I think, and maybe I'm crazy. I think with this movement is powerful enough that we can see a situation where kneeling during the anthem becomes a regular thing. I can see it. I can see it going in that direction.
Then I hope you're right.
That would mean that everybody's on board.
Right.
Or I would love to see it where it's not even a thing. So if people are kneeling, we don't even. I think that would be the bigger thing. Like if we see somebody kneel, we don't pay it no mind. Like that.
Or there's nothing to kneel about. How about that?
No, I was just about to say
that would be.
If people are really gonna stay up in arms about the kneeling and everything, then punish those who commit crimes against us or against anybody justly. Like do what we're asking, and the result of the protesting and rioting and different things like that. It's not like people just decided to just up and do something just cause. Like
right.
Perfect reasoning and logic for a lot of people to be upset. And even sometimes, like if we really take a microscopic look at why do white people look at us the way they do, a lot of it is pent up aggression from things that have happened that wasn't our fault. And until people really think about that, as much as we have to, because we're forced to, because when we walk outside the confines of our home, we face challenges just like anybody else, but it's an additional challenges that's added to it. And
Anxiety. There's anxiety almost being black.
Absolutely.
Literal anxiety.
yeah, so I mean, those are the necessary ways that people need to look at things if they want to keep griping about how we choose, because it's too much. It's all I always say in America. It always comes down to control.
Yeah.
You want people to protest silently or peacefully, and then when they do, no, you can't do it that way. And you gotta do it. You gotta find something else, and then. And it goes on, and it all comes about control. It's like do it the way I want you to do it. And I mean, and that doesn't get anything done. We was forced to do things years ago the
Our
way
way.
people, that wasn't our way. So it's like, when can we get to a point where people can just look at us like human beings trying to live and prosper just like everybody else?
Yeah, good point. All right, we'll keep the conversation moving here. You're watching Esports Extra here live on Twitch, twitch.tv/compete forever, mixer.com/compete forever, YouTube, youtube.com/compete forever, and on Facebook, facebook.com/gaming/compete forever. We'll take your phone calls live here. We're talking about the NFL, NBA, all of the things that are going on that's topical right now. 877-853-5247, meeting ID Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872. Larry Ridley, Durham Worrell, Ivan OG King Curtis, and Renee Montgomery, two-time WNBA champ, also collegiate champ at UConn. Next topic, guys. Number 4, Greg Popovich. And how about old Pop? He didn't mince any words. He's won 5 titles. He's an older guy in his 60s. Well, Pop might be 70 now. He's in his 70s here, right?
Yeah, I think he is.
So Pop, he's like, hey, man, I've done my thing. I don't really care what anybody says. And he went straight at Trump. He said, basically, dude, this was a layup for you, and you're blowing it. Like 99% of people would just take this. And he said he didn't even think a cynical person like him could screw this up. And he went hard at Trump.
Yeah.
Love it. Props to Greg Popovich. We'll start with you. Renee. You dribble a basketball for a living.
I do. And, everybody knows Greg Popovich is going to say what Greg Popovich wants to say, whether it's politically correct, whether he thinks it's going to be taken the right way, taken the wrong way. He doesn't care. So you love when you see, oh, Greg Popovich made a statement, because I know what that statement is going to be about. So he didn't disappoint. When I read the statement, he was giving me all the feels. They should print it, put it on the wall, everybody, because he articulated what a lot of business people can't understand. Like, he put it in a way that helps you understand. It's clear what needs to be done. We need leadership. We need understanding. He put it almost in a systematic way as a coach would. So for me, a lot of people need to understand that this is not just racism and people are not just outside yelling. And I think that he helped them do that. He said, because it's been our privilege to avoid it. That's a strong statement. It's been our privilege to avoid this topic, and now we don't have that privilege any longer. So I think just putting stuff into simple terms, I think it helps people understand, and he did that.
Derwin, he mentioned that word, the P word, privilege. And it was very prevalent. There's another P word for you. Go ahead, Derwin.
Yeah, definitely. Anytime Pop speaks, everybody listens. He's one of the major voices in the NBA, and he doesn't mix words. He tells you exactly how he feels, and he did that. I think he got his point across, and he wants change, and he's another leader on the NBA side that can help us get to some kind of change to get the other counterparts on board with us.
OG, you're in the NBA, the NBA 2K League. What are your thoughts on Pop, man? Came out and he pop.
Hey, I swear I'm glad I'm glad I'm last on this, because it's cousin Pop, because he's in the cookout. Only thing, matter of fact, I got somebody fixing his plate.
Got some Kool-Aid, some strawberry, grape soda. How about some grape soda for him too?
I love it.
Hey, just need to know if he wants his potato salad and baked beans separate. This is the thing about Pop. He's been like that since day one.
Yeah.
Like, he's never wavered, not one time, about any subject like this. So I mean, it's what we expect. It's what we need. And it makes you feel good. I mean, to have somebody like him on your side. I mean, and you can just tell, like, from his coaching, how he is as a person. I mean, he's hard nosed, and he stands behind what he believes, but he also has a heart. for
Good point.
people, and he showed that whether it's coaching or whether in his interviews and different things of that nature. So we need more pops. I
Yeah.
mean, and to be genuine about it. I mean, the thing about it to me is like everybody is not always going to be loving and caring. I mean, it happens, but my thing is we just need more of it,
Right.
and from everybody.
And
More
look,
love.
it won't be perfect, but when we don't see it, call it
Exactly.
out. When it's
Right.
when it's not love, call it out and keep it moving. That's cool. I agree with you definitely. A great conversation, good discussion with that, guys. We'll keep it moving and keep it here in the association on the hardwood. Kevin Durant, your squad, your parent company there with the Brooklyn Nets.
Where Brooklyn at?
Where Brooklyn at? KD, Sean Marks mentioned potentially in May that maybe KD would come back, but we all knew that was going to be a stretch. Look, I mean, he's been out almost a year now. It's been what 11 months, I believe. I think he
Yeah, it's
tore that
yeah,
ACL in
June.
June.
Yeah,
Yeah, June of
it's
2019.
close.
Get him to December. He'll get 18 months. KD will not play this season when the NBA restarts and comes back at the end of next month. Right call, correct, Ivan? You agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, because the other thing about it is just seeing how everything goes through this process
Right.
when the season starts. I mean, I think that's going to be a major key. I mean, and it's kind of unfortunate because when the pandemic hit and everything like that, he was one of the athletes that had tested positive and different things of that nature. So it's a lot of things that could tie into it, but definitely I didn't see him coming back. You know, in this situation, but so I think it was to be expected. No surprise.
Your thoughts on KD out until the 2020-21 season, which looks like it will start December 1st, Renee.
Yeah, no shocker. And just from the athlete perspective, a lot of athletes are worried about the timetable, getting hurt, injuries, like NBA, they have long preseasons. They have the preseason before the preseason where you see all kinds of athletes linking up in Vegas and working out together to get into training camp. So, if one of the major concerns for a lot of athletes is injuries and not being in shape, of course, an athlete coming back from an injury is going to decline that. I mean, it's not the risk reward factor, it's just not there.
Right.
Yeah, Derwin, no KD for the Brooklyn Nets, and no Kyrie either. Well, at
Yeah.
least for now. So
I mean,
sorry, OG, but I think that's
Yeah.
somebody. I think a lot of teams want the Brooklyn Nets right now. If you're the Celtics and teams like that, man, the Pacers and other teams like that, Toronto, you're like, hey, I want that second seed, right?
you don't want this guy coming back now and then getting another injury because he was rushing. Everything right now is a rush job. Everyone's trying to rush back all these different leagues to get back in front of the screens and stuff, and it just doesn't make sense. And now they're going to go through this season and then start up again in December. Just let the guys sit out the rest of this playoff or makeshift thing that they're doing right now with the NBA, and then let them come back fresh in December and let them have a regular training camp to get himself in condition and to come back strong. The last thing you want for him to come back trying to rush because you're the seventh seed and make a run in the playoffs where you might not even win a championship. And it's all about winning the championship in New York. Period. If you don't win a championship in New York, nobody cares. So you might as well let him rest, come back in full strength for the next season.
And especially with Kyrie being out, look, this was going to be a redshirt year, sort of speak, for KD anyway. So, yeah, there's no reason to rush it. I always thought those stories, and we were hearing them in January. Well, maybe if they make it to the playoffs, or maybe if they get to the second round, and maybe you just just
Yeah.
keep them on ice, man. You got them for the next 2 or 3 years after that. Just focus on those, at least the immediate two seasons, 2021 and 21-22 seasons. All right, let's keep it moving. Next topic, we'll stay in the association, the NBA. Could consider some roster expansion. They're talking about plans. What are they going to do? And they should be talking about these plans. We'll start with you, Renee. WNBA, I know you guys are thinking about that. Players are going to get hurt. Players are
Yeah.
going to test positive for COVID-19. What do? Do you just add two more players to the mix? The NBA, they're talking about 17. But when you bring two more players for 22 teams, that's
Yeah.
44 more guys inside the bubble. So it's a tough balancing act. It's a delicate act that they're trying to balance here, trying to keep the numbers small, but also be realistic that guys are going to test positive. We've seen it in soccer and other leagues across the country and around the world.
Yeah, people are going to test positive. People are going to have, I mean, let's not forget there's the DMP for rest, but load management. So you're gonna have, I mean, in a concentrated season, that's gonna be an issue. Obviously, injuries. We just talked about it with a short preseason coming in. It doesn't matter how much these guys are working out. Like LeBron James said, like there's not. This is the worst thing that could have happened to an athlete. If you're in your best game shape, taking a break is just it's not it. And there's no shape, like game shape. So you can do all the training you want and not be in shape. So you have to have more players. You also have to have people to practice against.
Sure.
Like and practice every day. You have the team, the scout team that goes through the stuff. You have to have these extra numbers. So it's smart. You knew it was coming. Even in the WNBA, there's been talk of do you have a pool of players basically that
Mhm.
people can draw from.
And which
So
and which players are eligible to be in that pool? That's another thing to look
exactly.
into as well.
Exactly. So it's all the leagues have to do this. It's almost like a built-in buffer in case something goes wrong.
OG, your thoughts, man, in NBA and their plans about roster sizes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a lot of precautions and everything like that. It made me think more that it literally should have just went with just started from the playoffs and just go straight from. I mean, to try to. I mean, I know that doesn't sound fair to all the other teams, but at least from uh, different scenarios like this, what we're talking about is that. I mean, it lessens more bodies to the venues and different things of that nature. Also, I wonder. I think about the G League players and what type of use they can be
Mhm.
and different things. So it's gonna be interesting. I mean, I pray that everybody is okay. I mean, and it doesn't start becoming a string of players or personnel or anybody testing positive and creating uh what we don't what we fear to see. So it's gonna be interesting. I just hope that everybody's okay and that it resumes as normal. The load management part, I mean, that may be more prevalent now than ever, considering we're talking about players fighting to get back in the game shape and different things of that, or how players might tweak simple little injuries and things. So I don't know. It's a lot that goes into it. I just hope it pans out well.
Derwin, if you were Adam Silver or the NBA Board of Governors or the NBA PA, how would you manage this roster question?
I would vote for expanding the rosters because you're dealing with a virus that's highly contagious. So I'm not worried about just losing one player. I'm worried about one player being positive and him affecting two or maybe three other teammates.
Yeah.
So now I'm down four players. I need to be able to go to a pool somewhere and be able to pull some guys that maybe like Renee said that normally are DNP that don't normally play. I'd be able to have those reserves in the tank if I need them. And then the whole thing with the preseason, I think the NBA is also worried that we have to have a preseason because if we run right into the playoffs,
Yeah.
what is our product going to look like?
Mhm.
Because
Right.
guys are trying to get into
That's
shape.
why you're going to get those 8 games.
Yeah, you don't want to start the playoffs and everybody's watching and everybody just doesn't look like
Bunch of bricks.
themselves. Yeah.
Bunch of bricks.
Yeah.
Hey, it put me in mind of like the old guys at the wreck.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Man.
look like an all-star game.
To
You
see
know how
those
those
guys
games
out
get
there, yeah.
wild.
See the guys out there stretching their hammies right before they go, before they
Yeah.
tip it off like a bunch of old dudes at the Y. Let's move from the court to the ice and talk some ice capades of the NHL. Planning to have workouts starting as soon as tomorrow, but definitely this week. Uh, Teams can, I believe, you can have guys at the facilities get up to 6 players at a time. NHL Phase 2 moving closer and closer. We'll start with you, OG.
If we're gonna do it, let's do it. I mean,
Amen.
especially
Preach.
here, like I said, tomorrow, New York is opening up to some sort. So, um, I mean, I know for some, they have a lot of fears and worries about it. But for me, like I said, if we gonna try to uh, get back to some sort of normalcy, like let's do it. I mean, and just do it slowly but surely, and with the right caution to it. I mean, but I know they most of the professional athletes are excited to get back and do what they love to do. And I mean, I kind of taken from Renee is you love to see it. I mean, because like we've been without what we're used to as spectators and
Mhm.
broadcasters and everything. So I mean, I think I'm excited about it. Like I say, even though I don't watch hockey as much, but when I'm in New York, like I say, I do go. I used to go to the hockey games and different stuff like that. So I'm excited about it because the more and more things get back, then other people start in other sports
the
and
more
different
normal
things
we
like
are,
that.
basically.
Yeah.
Renee, 24 NHL teams, man. Give me the ice capades, baby. You know what ice capades are, right?
What is ice capades?
It's a show on ice, baby.
Oh, okay. I've heard the
What it
term,
is?
but I didn't know for sure. So yeah, you know, like OG said, you're going to start to see that more and more when you see more places open up. You're going to see more leagues because there has to be a starting point, you know, like so the leagues are going to start, and this is just the leagues rolling out their different phases. To me, this is just like okay, next phase, and then we'll see a phase 3. But it's almost like I mean, you knew you were going to see it, so I'm not even. It's not even news to me. I'm like, okay, the NHL starting.
Yeah, good stuff. Durbin, your thoughts? NHL back, baby. Getting close.
Love me some hockey.
There he is.
I
Hockey
love some
and
hockey.
NASCAR.
Yeah.
Hockey and NASCAR.
And if
Give
you
me some cricket.
there's nothing better than NHL playoff hockey. Period.
Okay, I've heard that.
No, he's telling the truth on that.
Yeah, it's awesome.
No cap. No cap.
I was talking. I have a cousin that's in Canada, and I'm wondering how the NHL is going to kind of do this because the borders are not open yet.
No.
So
it's not going to be open till later this month. They're looking at 2 hub cities. One definitely probably going to be Vegas. Now they're like, you know what? We don't have time to kind of mess around with Canada a little bit. So I'm hearing maybe Minneapolis, maybe a Pittsburgh, a St. Louis are the 3 teams, and maybe Tampa. And then I think I heard Boston maybe, but those are the 4 or 5 areas that I'm hearing or that I at least read about. I'm not hearing any damn thing. I'm not a hockey expert, but some of the things that I'm a sportscast. I'm supposed to be in the know, but those are some of the things that I've read and seen. Those are buzzing around the community, if you will.
Yeah, but the NHL has to get back because all the major 3 sports are coming back. So they don't want to be left out of that loop. They want to get back on the ice, playing hockey, Stanley Cup hockey. Well, hopefully everything will work out going forward and they can get back real soon.
All right, 24 teams. It's looking like you'll get 16 teams playing in the best of 5, and then the top 4 seeds in each conference, that's the 8, they get a playoff bye, and then everything after the first round starts the best of 7, going straight to the playoffs. I think it was fair and equitable, similar to what the NBA is trying to do, except there will be no regular season games, it looks like, according right now to the NHL plan, straight to the playoffs, baby, with some ice capades in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's move to Major League Baseball real quickly before Dana Hughes calls in. Coach KB on the lookout for Dana Hughes calling in from Kansas City from his home. Let me know once he gets in there. Major League Baseball, what are your thoughts, guys? They're still working on this plan. Could be as little as 50 games. We'll see if Major League Baseball and Rob Manfred, the commissioner, just forcefully puts that in if they don't agree on any of the proposals out there, 114 all the way down to 50. Looks like it might just be 50 unless the players budge and give a little bit with these prorated salaries, and actually need to give more, to be honest with you. But there is some talk that they could allow fans in the state of Texas with the Rangers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and Arlington, and also the Houston Astros at Minute Maid Park, maybe 25 to 50% full. Governor Abbott has talked about allowing that in the state of Texas. I think that could be an advantage for the for the Astros and the Rangers. We'll go with the professional athlete here on this set. Renee,
Yeah. So no surprise. It's the same thing like Ohio State. I said if Ohio State lets 50,000 in, there's going to be 50,000 in there. I see they're going to try to make money. Like this is a business. People have to understand sports is a business. I know everybody's like, "Ooh, we miss our sports. We want to see people play." Now people really have to understand the business of sports. So first they're like, "Yeah, no fans. Come on, players play." And then they're like, "All right, we got the players about to play. All right, let's get a little bit of fans in there." And you're right. That is a home court advantage because if you go to an arena and they actually have fans, first of all, it might be like a shock. Like, "Oh, wow, okay, we got fans here, guys." And it's just a different feel. I almost feel like it needs to be regulated in a sense because what if that is an advantage, like a home court advantage is a thing, a 6-man. I know in what we call it in basketball. So I don't know. I think that's going to be interesting to see.
Home field advantage. I guess we can call it a 10th man. Don't forget the Rangers have a new ballpark opening. Was supposed to open up in March, so that's going to be nice for them. They're itching. Globe Life Field, Darwin Worrell, your sportscaster. You know what the sound of money sounds like, don't you?
Yeah, I don't like that at all. If everyone can't have fans, then no
Yeah.
one should have fans, and I don't think that's fair at all. I know in some of these other leagues that wouldn't happen. I know Goodell wouldn't allow, the Cowboys to have fans, but the Vikings can't have fans. It's not fair at all. And I'm surprised that we're not hearing about Florida, because Florida seems to like to do some things off the cuff too. So
Oh, they're close. They're
they're,
right
they're
behind.
they're probably right behind Texas about allowing fans
Oh yeah.
to play. Yesterday I was what happened come in late last night. I was watching Indy racing, another racing.
There you go.
and,
Racing,
and they were,
NASCAR,
and I noticed, and I know,
this guy.
and I noticed that they were racing in Texas, and there were no fans. So and no NASCAR and Indy's been back, racing and stuff, and there've been no fans. So that's been interesting to see. But if you can't have all the fans across the board, there should be no fans at all.
Your thoughts, man? Globe Life Field, Minute Maid Park. Hey, everything's bigger in Texas, man.
Hey, I obviously in my 2 years, I've learned a lot about the business side of sports. But the other thing that I was thinking was your city officials, how they feel about their sports is probably going to play a large role in this, and I'm sure they're going to be influenced by the investors and everybody that's involved, and be like, hey, like if we can get some bodies in there, like let's get some in there. Like, I mean, I don't expect everybody to have that approach to it or those feelings, but some of your other states that's been open and people kind of been back to normal, quote unquote, as much as possible. Their view on it is going to be a lot different. I know, at least I know back home in Ohio, is light years difference compared to me the last 2-3 months in New York. I mean, because pretty much they've been back up and running, and I see people getting haircuts and nails done and all this, and here I am, like, I think the city officials play a large role as long as with everybody else that's involved. And like you said, that new ballpark, there's no. They not trying to let that sit empty for no
You
whole
think they're gonna let that
season.
thing exactly for a whole entire
season? It's heavy influence.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks, baby.
And it's only gonna take one. It's only gonna take one.
And then the other cities, you're gonna see everybody else. Here in New York, you're gonna see Yankee Stadium and Citi Field. They're gonna be like, hold on, buy us some peanuts and Cracker Jacks.
If you want that swab. Or what? Get your temperature.
They're gonna take temperatures at the
gate.
At the gate, they go and check your ticket and your temperature. Yeah.
Then Florida's gonna come by. Governor DeSantis down in Florida, he's gonna say, you know what? Forget about it. Everybody can come to the ballpark. Everybody go. You can go to the beaches. You can go to Club Live, and you can go to the park too.
It's Sunday, ain't it?
You can go to KOD. Have some fun out there, everybody.
He said, if Disney is open, everything's open.
Right.
Well, what opened this week? Was it Universal?
Universal.
Yeah.
Disney's coming up in the next, I believe, 2 weeks. I believe.
You know what's funny? I just thought about was like. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't count the Rangers' new stadium, but a lot of these stadiums need to be upgraded as far as seating anyway. The seat's too close. I'm not saying that they need to be 6 feet away. But I mean, let's create some more room out of this. I mean, because you sitting in a lot of these arenas and stadiums already hugged up.
You're right. I know the fans in Boston. I used to work there, as you know. From your lips to God's ears, man. Fenway Park, man, the seats are like literally that way. And some of the stands, you're actually facing towards center field. You're like looking this way, and they're batting over there. It's like you can tell it was built in 1900. So, I mean, they've tried to, look, it's a beautiful place. But, I mean, when you get into the underbelly, like Fenway looks beautiful on TV, and it is. I've got family pictures in front of the Green Monster. They opened up the stadium and the ballpark for me and my family when my kids were my boys were, I only had 2 boys at the time. They were little, and I love them for that. But I mean, there's rats and stuff. It's an old ballpark. It is. I mean, it's old. But on TV, it looks beautiful. But TV doesn't do it justice. When you get there, like, man, this thing old. So, yeah.
I mean, if it's iconic, I mean, when they had a throwback days that they want to wear the throwback jerseys and all that, then you have your game over there. I mean, but it's okay to build a new stadium. Like,
oh geez, like give us some amenities, please.
Tell you right now, they're not dishing out no money during this pandemic, so I don't see anybody doing anything.
Well, phase one for all of these states to open up. I know it here in New Jersey and New York. It was what construction was one of those first phases, so they did get to open up before everybody else. So
that's probably already paid for, though. That was probably in the works.
Projects. Yeah, those old projects. You're absolutely right about that. All right, guys, let's move from the diamond to the squared circle. The sweet science, Deontay Wilder. Last time we saw him, he did take that loss from Tyson Fury, but man, he scored a knockout.
As a black
what do you
man,
guys
we
think,
was
man? You
born
guys
to be
agree?
tough.
Deontay Wilder, we're showing the
Lynched,
video now.
whipped, burned was the thing of the past.
Stuff, man.
But to this day, jailed, raped, gunned. How long will it last?
I'll just leave it at that.
As if Malcolm X and MLK wasn't a must. As Eric Garner, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, all died from, well, just being
when
us.
you know the poem begins
like
at,
molasses,
to this day,
like
to this day, if you don't know what that's about, to this day, so that guy, this guy, he was on brand, and so you gotta have a certain level of like energy behind people that when none of my people
did anything to you
like for me, it's a Maya Moore who she stopped playing 2 years ago to fight social injustice.
Now y'all mad at protesters.
So now when I see what's going on, and now I really feel that, I get how she can think like, I don't want to go play basketball. Who cares about basketball? Like I get that type of energy. So for him, he's had that he kept his same energy, and the poem started out, to this day, as if 400 years of slavery wasn't enough. So you know what type of energy he's on when that starts like that, and I'm here for it. You love to see it.
Hey, started it and ended it. That's Derwin. I'm gonna go with you next. And you're a sportscaster, you're a TV guy in journalism, a storyteller.
Right.
That's a great way to tell a story.
Yeah.
Start
it and
end it at the same spot. We got a middle as well. There's a beginning, there's a middle and an end, but that's great the way you crafted it, right, man? It was good.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that he did say, and I think you see this in the movement right now, he talked about it's not black versus white, it's blacks versus racism.
As a black man, we was born to be tough.
About. We're trying to get rid of racism, and we need everybody
but to this day,
to get it done.
Rape,
and you've seen it across the board.
How long will it last?
Different leagues.
As if Malcolm X and MLK wasn't a must. As Eric Garner, Breonna Taylor, Trayvon Martin, all died from, just being us.
Man. Deontay Wilder, man.
Dark like molasses.
Hey, he's got that big right hand, right? That, my friend, was a big right hand.
Fight through four, Ahmaud Arbery, and all of
what he did.
You know, the thing about it is you have people who naturally have a presence, and like that's him. Like, I mean, you have athletes that are not always showmen of what they do, and I think that's the first thing. Like before it even started, I was intrigued, but by the end of it, I had like a chill to me because the way he delivered it was about as you thought he was getting ready to go box.
Yes.
Yeah, you was ready to go.
I was pretty high.
Burn with anger the past. But to this day, jailed, raped, gunned.
I mean,
how long will it last?
Renee, I'm using that. You just love to see it. Like, I mean, because I like things. I literally, all I read or all I'm really into, if I'm not watching something crazy on TV, is just self-empowerment and anything that can stimulate my mind towards the right direction to the greater good. So like that, man, it was just like, I don't care who wrote it. I don't care if he wrote it. I mean, that's
he
even
got a
more,
job after boxing.
More powerful. It was just, it was awesome, man. I can't even put it into words. I just know how I felt. As soon as it was over, it was like I sat there for probably a couple of seconds after the fact.
Yeah, I was. My buddies texted me. I looked at it. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was powerful, and it did, further advance the message. Now, Deontay, if you're listening, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on Mixer, YouTube, or Facebook, Deontay, I know you're out there watching. Take that right hand, brother. You raise that thing, and I want you to hit Tyson Fury in the face just like that. You get him back, bro.
It ain't gonna happen.
Same energy.
It ain't gonna happen. It is not gonna happen.
I hate Derwin. He might. Not your fight, Derwin.
Listen, dude. He might be wearing one of these headsets after the next fight. Fooling with Tyson Fury.
Straight right for that. Straight right for that. To this day. To this day.
The funny thing, I was
real quick.
last year. I was going. I was going into the Barclays Center, and I got to see him as he was going into the Barclays Center, and he still was like he always animated like and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty dope.
Yeah, good stuff. We'll take your phone calls live here on Esports Extra 877-853-5247. Meeting ID Esports Extra 377-678-9872. Let's go to the phone lines and bring in the next caller. We're waiting on Dana and Hughes. You're on the air live here, Larry Ridley with Esports Extra. What's up?
Hey, what's going on? It's Level Scar.
Level Scar. Hey, brother. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Well,
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Talk to us, man. With you Compete Forever Madden League, Coach K, let me know the next caller that calls in. We're waiting on Dane and Hughes. Put them straight through. Level Scar, what's up with you, man? How you doing in the league this year, brother?
Another disappointing season, but the good thing is that I'm learning. So
Okay, I like that.
Well, like G.I. Joe, right? That's half the battle, right?
Yeah.
if I don't lose, I don't learn. So I take losing, and I learn from my losses, and I just keep going forward. That's it.
Well, you know what? That's a great teachable moment right here. It wasn't a loss. These are all learning lessons. So
That's
very
usually
good
what
job.
they say losers say, but I get it. You got to get something out of it. I like to I personally like to learn from others' mistakes, but I do understand if you lose, you have to learn from that as well. So, yeah.
Renee Savage.
Hey, Renee.
I mean, I'd rather go through it. I'd rather go through it because, like, most of the time, like, if you see other people do it and fail, you don't really understand it unless you fail and you, okay, maybe that's what he's talking about.
That's why you got to study.
So
it.
just grab film. Yeah, you have to study. Yes, that's it. I study all the time. Even when I lose, I win. I need to study, learn from it, and move on. That's it.
Love it.
What is your record right now in the compete?
Right now I am 7-8. I went 7-9 last year, so if I go 8-8 this year, it's an improvement. So
that's a very, very slight improvement.
It's an improvement, though.
I like it.
It's an improvement.
I like your energy, though. You got you do have to keep positive and stay positive for yourself. So I do. I was just giving you a hard time because.
No, that's all right. I appreciate it.
Glass is half full, so we'll keep the positivity going. Who have you seen so far that you think can win the Super Bowl?
Oh, in our league?
Yeah.
Oh, Jay's Piano, bro. I think he beat me like 50-something to like 7, and I was like about to cry.
What team is that?
He was the Seahawks last year. This year he is the Eagles. I'll never forget. Oh my God.
He put a real whooping on you. You can't. You having nightmares about it. What's going on?
Yeah, like I wanted to quit. I was gonna tell him, dude, I'm done. I'm not playing no more. But then I didn't want to jeopardize the league as far as like points scored and stuff like that. So it was like I ate that score and I had to keep moving forward.
Dude, he put a 50-piece on you?
I believe so. I think I quit after the second quarter.
You were so heartbroken that you just wanted to quit.
I wanted to quit and rage quit, but I just kept going. I was like, you know what? I have to learn something from this. So let me just keep running the same play and see what happens.
We need you, dude, to show some more fight than that, bro. You got to show some fight,
man. I sat through it. I sat through it with almost tears in my eyes. But
that's what I applaud you that you took an ass whipping and you kept taking it. That's, I guess, yeah. Great chin. Yeah. Good stuff.
It's part of the plan, man. It's part of the plan.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Where do you live, Scar?
I live in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Okay, Elizabeth. Okay, not too far.
Yeah, I'm 20 minutes away from Bayonne.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. Well, hey, dude, we thank you for calling in, dude. Be safe, man. We enjoy having you in the league, dude.
And get to 8-8.
Yeah, get to 8-8.
Yeah.
Get to 8-8.
I'll try to get to 8-8.
And keep learning lessons.
And call in anytime and tell all your friends about our show. And get Black News Channel. The Compete Forever Madden NFL Albany Capital Center comes on at 6 p.m., brother. It's a great show, man.
All right.
Black News Channel, Spectrum TV, Dish Network, and Comcast, all right?
I like that.
All right, man. Thank you, guys. I appreciate everything you guys are doing.
All right, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
Gotta like that, man.
Hey, Renee is savage,
that
man.
was some guarded optimism.
Listen, I like that. I had to make sure I heard it right first. He said, if you don't lose, you don't learn a lesson. I was like, So wait, what? People were like, that's goals?
You play to win the game, Herm Edwards.
Because if I go undefeated and didn't learn one lesson, I'll take my championship and go on about my business. So
I think we got Danon. Danon's on the line.
Yeah, real quick though, there are a couple of people in the league that got their going for their doctorate right now, so they need to wake up. So
yeah,
they learning a lot. You saying they
boy,
went to school a long
he's
time.
kind of guarded. He looked punch drunk. He took that beating. He's like, I don't know if I want to continue doing. He was asking for mommy.
He was in tears. He said, "I'll never forget it. It was Philly. It was the Eagles." I'm like, "Are you scarred? Are you all right? You all right?" Yeah.
You watching Esports Extra here live on Twitch, Mixer, YouTube, and Facebook. We're taking your phone calls, 877-853-5247, meeting ID Esports Extra, 377-678-9872. We'll take your phone calls talking about the NFL, NBA, everything. Deontay Wilder's powerful message. We just showed the video there. Let's go to the phone lines and bring in a good buddy of mine, resident of the city of Bayonne, was born here, doesn't live here anymore, lives out in Kansas City, played with the Chiefs out there in Chiefs Kingdom and Arrowhead. Danon Hughes, good Sunday to you, kind sir. How are you?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good, kind sir, man. I'm doing well, man. How are you, man?
I'm all right. Just trying to beat the heat, but I'm not going to complain. So It's all good.
Hey, yeah, life's good for you, man. Got some barbecue. You living out in KC. Your old team won the Super Bowl down in Miami. I was down there doing some Madden events down there in the East Super Bowl. Talk to me, man. How does it feel, man, to be living in the city of champions right now with the Chiefs?
Long time overdue. It's been a long time coming. 50 years
yes, sir,
since we were able to celebrate a Super Bowl win here. And, you consider what the Royals did just a few years ago and now what the Chiefs are doing. This is really a fun time to be here in Kansas City. And, we got a franchise quarterback. He's kind of unknown around the football world, this Patrick Mahomes guy. But
he's an MVP. Yeah. He's on the cover of Madden. No, don't do that, Danon. Don't do that.
Yeah. So we're really excited about what the future can hold here in the Chiefs Kingdom. So yeah, it's been a blast these last few months. Obviously, with the COVID-19 craziness and everything, it kind of puts a damper on what probably would have been extended celebration, but I think we're inside 100 days before the NFL season starts, so it's right around the corner.
Training camp next month. You're absolutely correct. We're talking here to former Chiefs receiver Danon Hughes from right here in Bayonne, New Jersey. Danon, we got WNBA two-time champ Renee Montgomery on, Durham Royal sportscaster and head coach of the NBA 2K League's Brooklyn Nets, Ivan Curtis here. Your Chiefs going into the 2020 season as the Super Bowl defending champions. How do you think they'll do? You think they can get back to that game and go back to the state of Florida and go back-to-back first team since the Patriots did it in 03 and 04?
I think so. I think they have a good chance. And, I mean, we all been around the game long enough to know it's about staying healthy, first and foremost. And, you return 20 of 22 starters from a Super Bowl winning team. That's helpful. You got some good draft picks to fill in some gaps where it's needed, but it all comes down to who stays healthy and who's hitting their stride at the right time. And if you look back in 2019, the season, Patrick Mahomes, I was in Denver with the team on that Thursday night game when his kneecap was dislocated. And I could feel, even though I was in the Mile High City, I could feel everybody's pain in Kansas City when he went down. But he was able to come back. They were able to hit their stride at the right time and carry that momentum through the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. So I think a lot of people are encouraged. We're hoping that we can have fans in the stadium and Arrowhead. For many people that haven't been there, if you've never had a chance to be at Arrowhead for a football game, it is something that should definitely be on your bucket list because it's not like any other NFL stadium. It's more like a college atmosphere with the barbecue and the tailgating and everything else. And I'm really excited about what they're going to do in 2020.
And I can definitely co-sign on that. I've been to all 32 NFL stadiums, Danon, and I think the Chiefs and I think Seattle at CenturyLink and also think the Superdome down in New Orleans are definitely the top three. So you're absolutely correct. on that. Talking to Daniel Hughes, former Kansas City Chiefs receiver. Want to get your thoughts on the athletes speaking out. We saw your boy Patrick Mahomes in that video that the NFL players released on Friday. Powerful stuff. Deshaun Watson, OBJ, bunch of NFL stars. By my count, I think 50 or 60 of them got together.
What would it take
that video
for one of us to be murdered by police brutality?
What if I was George Floyd?
If I was George Floyd?
What if I was George Floyd?
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 I am George Floyd.
I am Breonna Taylor.
I am Ahmaud Arbery.
I am Eric
For the
Gardner.
Chiefs, and I just
I
thought it
am
was
Tamir
very
Rice.
impressive.
I am
You hear the
Walter Scott.
backstory
I am
about
Michael
Michael
Brown.
Thomas
I am
kind of
Samuel
spearheading it.
Lewis.
I am Frank
And
Smart.
just,
I'm Philip
you know,
White.
when we
I'm
don't
doing
want to
great.
give
We will not be
credence
silenced.
to these young players and these young athletes about being aware, and you get negative
on behalf of the
connotations
National
to
Football League,
millennials
This is what
and
we,
so on. You
the
have
players,
guys that
Would like to
step
hear
up.
you state.
They don't
We,
care
the
about
National Football League,
condemn
their
racism
brand.
and the systematic
They're
oppression of
putting
black
that,
people.
you know, in the back.
we, the National Football League,
Getting it wrong and silencing our players from peacefully protesting.
We, the National Football League,
Believe Black
not
Lives.
speak about things that are going on. I think that's totally false. I mean, most of them are fully college educated. They pay more taxes than most people. They're more engaged with a lot more people, power positions, and what have you. And when they feel something, we should be receptive to it, just like as if they wanted to teach our kids different drills. So I love the fact that the young generation, that's where it's going to come from. Young generation stepping up, doing what's right to make things better for the next generation. So I applaud those guys.
Good stuff. We're talking former Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Daniel Hughes here live on esportsXTRA. We'll take your phone calls 877-853-5247. Meeting ID esportsXTRA. Press pound twice to join the show. Dana, we're going to go back to your college days. You're from here in Bayonne, but you went to college in Iowa City, University of Iowa. Great football program there in the Big Ten. Your school is in the news now, the alma mater there with your head coach, Corey Ferentz, more specifically the strength and conditioning coach, Chris Doyle. I don't believe either one was there when you were there. Tell us about what you think about your school being in the news. And we talked about it last night on the phone. Iowa is different now, man. You got kids that coming from Jersey City and Carroll City going to little old Iowa City. That totally different up there, ain't it, Dana?
Yeah, it is. You know what? It's the best decision I ever made in my life in regards to sports and in regards to just being a young teenager. I was 17 years old when I graduated high school, and leaving New Jersey, never being really away from Bayonne much, being born and raised there and in Hudson County, and then going out to the cornfields. It was a great decision for me. I wouldn't change it for the world, but I understand, as you mentioned, you get guys from Jersey City, Newark, down to Texas, into California. I have teammates from all over, Boston, etc. And there's going to be things that come up because of the culture difference, because you are moving different guys from city and urban upbringing into a rural situation. There's going to be things that pop up that may affect people. So I applaud James Daniels and the other players that came up and spoke about some improper actions and words and craziness that was going on with my Hawkeye program. Kirk Ferentz was actually the offensive line coach when I was there for 1 year before he left to go to Maine and then on to the NFL, and then he came back. So I've known Coach Ferentz since 1988. A great guy. He's always been stellar to me, but you have a situation that's gone on in his program, and I applaud him for stepping up and standing up the way he did. It didn't take days. It didn't take calculated steps. He jumped out in front of it and made some moves, very necessary moves. So I can appreciate that.
Well, and you listen to some of the former players, they didn't say really a whole lot of racism, just that it was uncomfortable for some of the black players walking around on eggshells, maybe, sort of hard for the strength and conditioning coach and some of the people there at Iowa to understand their backgrounds and their culture. Can you speak on that? What was it like for you at Iowa? Were you fine there? I'm sure you were. I mean, we've talked about this plenty of times, and sort of some of the plights that those players may be feeling there as far as their comfort level, if you will.
Yeah, for me, I was fine. I mean, I still have several guys. They're a lot of white players, my quarterbacks, running backs, offensive linemen, that we do a vacation for the last 15 years together. I got my other group of guys from New York and New Jersey that we always were basically like brothers together out there because that's all we had was each other. We didn't get a chance to go home for spring break. We didn't get a chance to go home very much for Christmas break. We had all we had, New York, New Jersey guys sticking together. And we still go on vacation for the last 15, 20 years. So the bonds that I built there are tremendous. They're the best friends that I had, and both colors are represented. So for me personally, I saw it as just a cultural difference. Now, if I look back now, I can start thinking of, that seemed like a peculiar statement, or yeah, I could see how, things can be misconstrued, or maybe out of color, so to speak. But nothing that kind of hurt me, nothing that that was detrimental to me. And that's kind of what I see with James Daniels and the other guys coming out. They're making statements based on things that hurt them to the core and have stuck with them for years since. And that's the first part of healing, is that you have to identify different things. And I think if you talk to several of my Hawkeye brothers during that time, guys, I don't think they felt like it was something that was like raining on top of them. It was just different cultural mindsets, and that's kind of how we took it.
Yeah, this is part of the learning process. You're absolutely right there. Correct right there with your eloquent words. Lastly, before we let you get out of here, Dana, and I told you I wouldn't keep you no more than 10 minutes. Last question. Coach Tom Herman down at the University of Texas. You see his comments? Very strong and a very pro-black athlete. He was talking about the Texas fans. You guys show up here in Austin. You root for our guys, but you won't let them marry our daughters. You won't give them great jobs. I thought that was powerful in this movement and the Black Lives Matter. I've got 3 sons, and I would send every last one of them to Tom Herman at the University of Texas if he's going to have a stance like that. Dan, your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. At this point, there's no beating around the bush. I mean, we've gone beyond and experienced beyond certain instances that we should be tongue-in-cheek speaking and we should beat around the bush and tap dance. No. These times now, it's got to be right up in front and in the face of many people. And unfortunately, that's going to rub some people the wrong way. I'm sure in the state of Texas, there are some people that are getting rubbed the wrong way with those comments, but it's real and it's necessary. And if not now, when? And so I applaud Tom Herman. I like the fact his players are going to love the fact where you always hear the statements of guys running through brick walls. Well, I think those guys are going to be ready to run through a couple of brick walls for him, because he's empathizing, he's acknowledging, and he's standing strong. And what else would you want from a leader is that they are able to do that and verbalize it and not care what the ramifications of those comments go to. So that's what it's about. Kirk Ferentz came out, made strong statements. Tom Herman came out, strong statements. Other coaches and other leaders are doing the same, and that's what we have to rally around.
Good stuff there. Tom Herman, definitely a leader of men. And you look at it, Dane, and they're going to be a really good team this year. Got some national championship aspirations. I think this could help and spur them down there in the Big 12. Dane, really appreciate you taking the time on this beautiful Sunday, man, to join us. Don't be a stranger, man. You're welcome anytime, man. And congratulations on all of your post-career endeavors. I know you're doing some good stuff with U.S. Bank. And, hey, next time you're back here in Bayonne, man, make sure you holler at your boy, all right?
Absolutely, man. Have some good pizza. Got some great restaurants down there in Bayonne. Shoot, that's what I miss is the Italian food and my family and the pizza. So y'all better take advantage of that.
All right, good stuff. Dane, have a good Sunday, man, and we'll talk to you down the road, brother.
All right, take care.
All right, good stuff. That is the great Danon Hughes, former Iowa Hawkeye star receiver, played in the NFL with the Chiefs for 6 or 7 seasons, doing some good stuff. High position out there at the U.S. Bank as well. So we're doing some really good stuff. Very great words that he spoke about the NFL players, and also, giving us a little sneak peek at the University of Iowa program. You guys' thoughts before we move on to the next topic, because we got 13 minutes and Renee, she's got to get off the clock.
No, I mean, he hit it on the head. Talk about running through a wall. Athletes, that term is that if you believe that a coach believes in you and you know a coach wants the best for you, you will literally run through a wall for them. Like they will coach you, and anything that they say you will do. And 100%, you're gonna have some running backs breaking in some tackles. You're gonna see some layout catches. You're gonna see a lot because the players are going to want to perform so well just to show how much they appreciate him. So spot on.
OG and Derwin. We'll start with you, Derwin. I latched on to the Iowa stuff, of course, and Coach K. We were thinking last night, we're like, man, I've got nobody. I reached out to a few guys, and it's a busy weekend, a lot's going on. I was like, oh, Dayton, my boy, he played in Iowa. I'm like, oh, shoot, let's get him on. Talk about Iowa. That's a pretty big story right now. So really good. Speaking about the Hawkeyes program down there and out there in Iowa City.
Yeah, but I want to get back to Texas. The coach said, you come here, you cheer for our team,
yes,
but you won't allow these guys to marry our daughters. That got me right there.
That's powerful.
That's powerful. And you can say that about some other states too that probably feel that same way. You know, they'll come cheer for us.
I did see a sign at a Black Lives Matter movement the other day that says, but y'all love every inch of us.
They'll cheer for you, but
now what?
But you don't want us to marry your daughters.
No,
every inch.
I'm just saying what I heard.
I see who you're taking out of their book. I like what you did there. I see what you did there. I like it.
Go ahead, Derwin.
Yeah, but that's powerful stuff. And you could say that about some other places where, football is king and the majority of the team is, African American, but they won't let you marry their daughters. So how can you cheer for me on Saturday and Sunday and I'm the greatest thing, but then, you might think your daughter's cute or whatever. and I can't get the time of day.
Oh, I'm dead.
OG, he said, y'all going to pack the stadium, 100,000 fans. I don't know if any of you guys have been there. I've never been there as well, but I've seen DKR, Texas Stadium. Donald was a DK Royal Stadium. Austin holds over 100,000 fans. They're cheering for every touchdown, every tackle, every interception, every tackle for loss. Hook 'em horns. Where the love at, dog? Is it just on Saturdays? What about Sunday through Friday?
That's just campus love. Like,
okay.
But when he was talking, and speaking on Iowa, like it made me flash back to high school where I went to a predominantly black high school, but our head coach was white. And I mean, it was the complete opposite for me because the assistant coaches were black, and those were the ones that I feared the most. the head coach, he poured his heart out to our basketball program and the school in general. And the one thing I liked about him was he wasn't a coach that came to the high school and coached and then drove back out and lived in the burbs. No, he lived with us. Good. He lived in the neighborhood with us. So, it just made me think about that. Because my experience was different, but it made me think about that and about some of the differences that, like you say, cultural differences that, at the time you look at when you're a kid, you don't really think about it. But now, you look at everything and a lot of things are examined because, in the 90s, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have camera phones. We didn't have social media.
Yeah, we did. What you talking about, dog? I had a cell phone in the 90s. Stop playing, man. I did.
Wow.
And it almost resembled your house phone. Yeah.
I was the late 80s, early 90s. You're right.
Well,
but
yeah. I had a flip. I had a flip and a pager and different things like that. But we didn't use it, the way we use it now.
Yeah, it's not surveillance. Now you can't do anything because somebody caught it on camera.
Well, really, you know what, Renee? Like we say surveillance, but we gotta look at it's a healthy tool too.
It is
because of a lot of things.
Because we thought it was a police state, but now it's like turning it around on the police.
It's a lot of it's a lot of things we will be missing
Oh no, I love it. No, I'm saying we didn't like. I'm thankful that the camera phones weren't a thing when we were partying. When you know what I mean. I'm so thankful that came later because now
My closet full of skeletons, man.
And nobody had that on camera.
Well, what I'm saying, with everything that's going on, now it just made me think, like, because obviously, you know, when you're a kid, you tend to think like a kid, and now that I'm an adult, I look back and like I think you know, the fact that we didn't have camera phones and different things, there's so much more brutality and a lot of different things went on that either you seen it or you didn't. And so that was more or less what I was speaking on. But yeah, this experiences, I think is it. But the part about it, I mean, and it's crazy to think that like we can fill up, I mean, on top of everything we touch, it gives that flair to it. I mean, and we can pack arenas, stadiums, and then not be able to get that same level back. I mean, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Very powerful coming from a Caucasian man, a young male too. Very good stuff there. Let's move on. Second to last topic. Keep it with the college coaching ranks, except we'll go from the football side to college basketball. I've got 2 words for you. Danny Casper. Go.
Man.
Listen.
This dude wilding. That's what Coach K said last time. I'm like, man, this guy, he's on something. You know what? Look, I mean, it's racist, no doubt about it. But man, the creativity.
Chase that chicken.
Chase that chicken. Brown dude coming in. How about the AK-47? My favorite one was
the brown man with the turban.
Yes, Jalen Sheet had a better one. He was like, look, he came in, he called us for a meeting in the weight room, read out all the grades and the GPAs. He's like, such and such, 2.2 GPA.
He'll be working at Popeyes.
No, he'll be working at Popeyes. I was like, dang, Danny, you got to be funny and racist.
Right, you had a sense of humor with your racism.
Wow.
So first of all, when you go to Popeyes, our Popeyes here in Bayonne, we've got 2 of them. Both of them are always packed. And let me tell you something. It's usually more white people than black people there, but that's a different story.
That
Check out Chick-fil-A. That's another great chicken place. Chick-fil-A is always packed. Always as many white people there, especially with their kids playing. So I don't know what this narrative and this, you know.
He's running like the cops are behind him. These are just quotes. I mean.
Wow.
Got a 2.9 GPA. He'll be
working at Hertz. Danny Casper in Texas.
I mean,
tacky.
I laugh, but at the same time, I'm often conflicted. Because everybody in here is played sports and some at higher levels, but coaches have always used what most people on the outside would deem as like inappropriate language. I would,
And you're working at Popeyes now. He might say, "Stand the horse to the buggy rear."
Well, yeah. I'm not saying
Hall of Fame, so he ain't saying no chicken.
Well, I'm saying I'm not saying it's not level. It's level.
I know what he's saying. Yes, coaches. Yes, coaches say some disrespectful stuff. Like it's the fact.
First, but they didn't talk about like chicken.
But even if a coach might have accidentally said something that they didn't realize was insensitive, it's looking like he has a track record. And the reason we're laughing is because it's that ridiculous. So don't misconstrue why we're laughing. It's not funny that there's a coach that's using these insensitive terms to the players. We're laughing at how ridiculous it is that now we're only hearing this now and realize the reason we're only hearing this is because the climate. So if people are wondering, why are people marching? What are people marching about? Well, we're starting to see now. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, you wonder why we're marching here." So now you're starting to see. We would have probably never known about this. You know, like it wouldn't have been something that we read, but because of the climate of America, you see, and we're laughing at the ridiculousness that a starting point guard that has a 25, they won 25 games, first contender, he's leaving. You know, he probably wouldn't have spoke out about it.
Jalen Sheet.
And the other part about that was, you know, he was in fear of saying anything.
Yes.
Because he wanted to pursue a career in coaching and felt like that may jeopardize, his career in the future. So, and and to be honest, I think we face that a lot.
You can't speak up too forcefully either. You know, it's almost like you got to be the little kid in the back room, like, you just want to raise your hand
Yeah.
slightly, like, can you call on me? Like, can I be
Exactly.
recognized here? And that's a sucky feeling. You know what I'm saying? And all
Yeah,
the
definitely.
stereotypical language. You're right. I mean, we were making fun of it because it was so ridiculous. I mean, it's
Exactly.
just the stuff that and I think you had another example of a European player about, hey, this is Trump country. If you don't do this or play well, your butt's going to get deported. I mean, just it's crazy stuff like that. Durbin, jump in here on 30 seconds. Well, what are your thoughts on this?
that is it's just ridiculous. It's crazy that it tells you something about this person's mentality that he's coming at the players like that. It's just shocking to me that he would even do that. I don't know what kind of repercussions he's going to now take for this. There should be some action taken. You would think.
Hot water, yeah.
And real quick, the exact quote is, a lot of the boosters alumni here at Texas are Trump supporters. You keep messing up, I'll have you deported. That's a direct quote. So just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, this dude's wow. All right, enough of Danny Casper. Hopefully, he faces some sort of a punishment for this. And I don't know if he's a vile man or an evil man, but he definitely needs to recognize that his words are inappropriate.
Well, he's definitely one that would not allow you to date his daughter.
No, probably not. No, probably not.
Don't even look at her.
Yeah, never heard of Danny Casper until this story right here. So that tells you all you need to know about his career and the trajectory. NBA 2K League update. OG Ivan Curtis, the Kane, not the King, Kane, like Eddie Kane. What up, Kane? Give us a little update on the Brooklyn Nets and everything else, the NBA 2K League.
I got a nice little rundown. Starting the Raptors uprising continued their winning streak. They're 7-0. They beat us Friday night. Two games. Game one, they came out and jumped on us pretty good early. We fought back and made it a close game. They won 84-71. And then in the second game, they defeated us by 7. We had numerous chances to make a run and just didn't. So Kenny got work, averaged 37.5, 7 assists, shot 68% from the field. Yeah, he definitely did. He's one thing about Kenny. I mean, he's been remaining steady all season. I mean, so we definitely, be keen if we see him again. We finished 3-1 for the week. We defeated the Magic, Heat Check Gaming, and Celtics Crossover Gaming before losing the Raptors uprising. We now 3-2. Chalk is up for Player of the Week. He averaged 32 points, 8.5 assists, 65% from the field, and 55% from three.
Can we get the fellas to watch the show, man? Look, we got your coach down here. Yeah, do I need to send out a mass text to Shock and what's his name, Chessie and all those guys? Can we get the team to watch?
Well, if during the week is because they're all keen in on their games, but
they ain't got nothing to do with during the week, dog. It's
we'll see. A lot of them resting or doing whatever. We haven't had a free day to this weekend, so yeah, I'm gonna make a push for it. I've been pushing it on all my socials.
I know you have.
Celtics crossover continued a tough week. They went 0-2. They're standing at 0-5 right now. 76ers GC postponed twice to remain 0-6 on the season. Jazz Gaming defeated Lakers. Gaming to improve to 3-1. Rhea, he averaged 15.5 points, 14 rebounds, 7.5 assists. Lakers picked up their first win over Celtics crossover game, and they're 1-8 now. They've definitely been a competitive team. Just haven't been able to pull it out on numerous occasions. They've been up in a lot of games in the fourth and failed to hold on to the lead. But Sav, their draft pick this year, rookie point guard, averaged 35 points, 12 assists. Cavs Legion defeated Pistons GT to improve to 3-4. Strainer averaged 32.5 points, 3.5 assists, shot 62% from the field. Grizz Gaming defeated Celtics Gaming. They're also moved to 3-4. Vandy and Authentic African played well in that series. Kingsguard Gaming defeated Blazers Gaming to move up to 5-2. That boy's shots averaged 12 points per game, 15.3 rebounds, and 7 assists. Knicks Gaming reached 500 after their defeat over Gen G. Duck averaged 33 points, almost 34 points, 8.7 assists, and 66% from the field. Can't guard Rob is their center. He averaged 17 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists. Game of the week was Warriors gaming and Blazers 5 gaming. Warriors defeated them in a long match due to some technical issues. They moved they stay undefeated at 6-0. Slaughter was player of the series. He averaged 16 points, 13 rebounds, and
Double-double.
2.7 blocks. Top it off, Blazer 5 dropped their last 3. Which is surprising for the simple fact that in the first 2 seasons, they have never lost more than 2 games in the regular season.
Yeah.
So they're in a streak that they don't want to be in, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. And as for Nets GC, we'll be back in our practice facility tomorrow, watching film and get ready for the
3-1.
week.
3-2 overall.
3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 overall.
3-2 overall. Okay.
And
what do you guys play again?
We play Hawks Talent GC at 9 p.m. on Tuesday, and then we play Kingsguard Gaming on Friday at 9
Oh, we got OG both days this week, baby. It's the answer. That is the headline. Why did it take 5 minutes to get to that?
He caught that quick.
Yeah.
Don't bury the lead. Come on.
Yeah, you buried the lead.
I wanted to see if y'all was going to catch that. I mean,
listen, we listening now. What you think?
You know, the thing about it, it was what made last week so difficult is because shout out to BSE. I mean, they have been nothing but first class during all of this. We've actually had car service from our apartments to Barclays Center, and they basically stay, wait on us, bring us back.
There he goes.
Anything we
you living good over there. I'm telling you,
that's that black card. That's the NBA black card.
Hey,
that's that you got papers to be out past curfew card.
Now, we're not calling you King. We're calling you Cora King, man. Cora King Kurt.
Good.
And now reading into that, Renee, we had an incident. It was on Thursday.
What happened?
Where we were getting to go on the exit. Reached to give him the paperwork. The cop didn't even want to look at the paperwork.
Wow.
Never took the paperwork. His first thing was, "What are you guys doing? Yeah, you guys out during curfew?" And
yes, Jay-Z signed this paper. I'm out past curfew. What is there any other question?
He said, he jumped on the driver. Like, what is TLC doing out after curfew? I mean, and his only words was, "I'm gonna let you guys through, but I'm just letting you know if you get stopped on the other side, your car is probably gonna get towed." But he never looked at the paperwork, never checked. He didn't do anything. And like
did the cops know that there is paperwork? Because like when you said it to me, I was like, wait, there's paperwork. So did they send out a memo?
Because like back home in Ohio, my brother and my kid's mom, they all have paperwork. When it was during essential workers,
just in certain areas where they expect protests.
Yeah. So they had
not surprised.
But he didn't even look. I mean, and I know it was all bad because he had a cigar in his hand.
Cigar.
Yeah. So it was not a pleasant experience, especially doing everything that's going on.
This is why you got the protest and demonstration.
Exactly. Like we're not surprised. It's continually happening. Everybody thinks that like these are isolated incidents. No, these are incidents that happen all the time, and sometimes we catch them on video.
Now,
that's the thing.
The following night, we go back through the same because we go through the same way, so there's some familiarity with it. Another cop that kind of looked more like you and I.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the paperwork, check the ID, and we went right on through.
Of course.
There you go.
So I mean,
shouldn't matter your color, your skin. Just like, can we just follow the protocol?
Right.
Out for us all. So I want to move it out because we gotta get out of here because I got to do this other event here coming up. EA put out a statement. We can put that up, Coach K. EA, NFL, Madden put out a statement in support of Black Lives, diversity. More importantly, calling out some of the rhetoric that we've seen online, racist remarks. No doubt, I think we helped drive that discussion on Thursday. No doubt about that. Great job by you two, Derwin, Renee, and also you as well, OG. Just your thoughts on EA putting out this statement and we don't need this in gaming. We don't need this in society as a whole.
I want to read it because I think it is like a big statement for a brand of their caliber. And they say, tomorrow we had committed to celebrating Madden NFL 21 with you, but we're not going to do that now. We stand with our African American Black community of friends, players, colleagues, and partners. Our immediate attention is on actions we can take to drive change against the unjust treatment and systematic bias that is plaguing the nation and our world. We'll find another time to talk football with you because this is bigger than the game, bigger than sports, and needs all of us to stand together and commit to change. So that whole statement is how I feel. I'm sure that's how Amaya Moore felt when she didn't want to play basketball because she felt like a lot of things were getting ignored. It's the sentiment of a lot of Black athletes.
Sure.
Because when they talk about this is bigger than a game, bigger than sports, people can't understand why you would want to kneel when you're about to think about football. Why are you thinking about kneeling? And it's at all times we can't check in and out of feeling injustice. So even when I'm about to play a game, I still am a Black woman. They still are Black men. So if people can't understand how the two are connected, read that statement. And then if you still don't understand, reread it again because there's bigger problems. And if we have this platform, then we can make a change by showing people we don't stand for these injustices. So I loved it. EA, I'm about to buy 5 more games. I love you guys. For real though, because that's a big statement.
You don't have to do that buying the games. You got big brothers.
Right.
Don't spend your money.
Guys.
Don't do that. Yeah, real quickly, Derwin. Ivan, before we get out here.
Powerful statement, great statement. I wonder, what they're going to do about the young man, the one of their top players that
His name is Volterax.
Yeah, which was doing things that were not in line with what EA just put out there. So that'll be interesting to see if anything happens to him going forward.
Well, they have made a stand in the past. They've done stuff to other champions. Took some money away from a guy that we know about with Chris what's his last name? McFarland, I believe. But yeah, Dubby, did some stuff with another player that I think was either accused or convicted of another crime that he had. I think it was some sort of sexual misconduct crime.
Oh no.
And they didn't allow him in there. So we've seen them act before. We'll see what happens now. So we'll just wait and see. OG, last thoughts real quick.
It's like one of those things where we've endured a lot over the years, and yes, we have made some progress, and yes, there has been some things sprinkled in to kind of shadow and blind us from some of the harsh realities that have existed, and to a point that if you're a professional anything or any type of figure, that the event only lasts a few hours, but after that you go back to being who you are. And
Exactly.
I think that's
or who you're perceived to be
exactly
by the color of your skin.
So I mean, it's just something that has to be understood. Like we still, no matter what the status or no matter what you do or anything like that, we have to learn we have to deal with things regardless, and we still got a long way to go before everybody can be comfortable. So for a lot of people out here that's uncomfortable, you have to be prepared to stay uncomfortable for a while, because it's your temporary being uncomfortable has been kind of it's been a sentence since some of us have been born.
Right.
So let's get ready for the good trouble.
Hey, I like what you
trouble.
did there.
Let's get into some good trouble.
Oh, I'm getting into a lot of good trouble. I'm
Man,
telling you right now, I'm gearing up.
Well, we've seen you and great pictures and
Gearing
videos,
up.
man, that you're putting out there, man, handing out water.
I can't keep up with her.
Yeah, donate to the Renee Montgomery Foundation. All of you folks out there, check her out. Definitely doing some good works out there. Before we get out of here, Compete Forever made our debut on TV this past yesterday on Saturday.
Mama, you made it.
Yeah, Mama, we made it. We were on Black News Channel. You can get it on Dish Network, also Spectrum TV. That's Spectrum and Charter cable across the country, and also Comcast Xfinity. On those 3 platforms, you can watch it on TV. You can also catch it digitally as well. But yeah, we aired yesterday at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern on the Black News Channel. And today, we already aired at 11 a.m. We come on today. You can catch the Madden Compete Forever Albany Capital Center Classic today at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Once again, on Black News Channel, Albany Madden Capital Center Classic, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Later today on the Black News Channel, you can get the Black News Channel on TV, over the air, linear, speaking on these cable systems. It'll be Dish Network, Spectrum, Charter Cable, and also Comcast Xfinity. You can watch it over there, or you can get it on the Roku channel. You can try to check
Roku,
it out
Fire
on that.
Stick, y'all already know.
But definitely get it over the TV.
Get it on TV too. If you have cable, get it on the cable.
Yeah,
Okay.
get it on the cable because the digital side's a little screwy. They're working on that, but definitely on TV, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern every Saturday and Sunday. You'll be watching us next week. I believe it's the Super Showdown of the Madden event we did Super Bowl Sunday in New York City, which is another.
Yeah, I highly recommend using the
watching it on TV.
Spectrum TV
Spectrum app.
and Spectrum app.
Yep. If you want to watch it digitally on the app, watch it on Spectrum or Dish Network. On TV, Spectrum, Charter, Dish, and Comcast Xfinity. So definitely want to tell you guys and push you guys towards the Spectrum app. That's how I was able to watch it. My friend lived in Orlando, and I'm watching it off his TV in Orlando because they have Spectrum. So if you know anyone in New York City that's got Spectrum, which is New York One, a lot of people have Spectrum in New York City. A lot of people across the country do as well. LA, Cleveland, Charlotte.
Yeah, Larry. Is it? I'm not sure if the Xfinity is that on demand or is that?
It's some of it is Xfinity on demand service, but at least you can, if you have Xfinity and Comcast, you can get the channel. You can definitely get it. So that's why I would say Spectrum and Charter definitely for sure, and Dish Network you can watch it right now. I think on Spectrum's channel, well, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Different markets, but Spectrum, Charter, Dish Network, and then Comcast Xfinity, you can watch it nationally. Yeah, those are the channels. And I think they're in like 40, 50 million homes. So it's a growing. They got to get some other cable providers like DirecTV is what I have. That'd be big if they would get AT&T DirecTV. They'll probably boost them up another probably 20, 30 million viewers.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I call
60, 70 million easily.
I called Optimum yesterday because looking for the channel. So I put in a suggestion that they need to get the channel.
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Good stuff.
That's a good idea.
So good stuff. But guys, it's been another great show, man. Let's go and get out of here. I got some stuff to do. I know Renee's well past her time, and we'll apologize, Renee. I will not let it happen again. We're not supposed to go more than an hour and a half. Or Kevin Babuzette back there pushing all the right buttons. You go ahead, Tuck.
No, I'm all the way here for it. This stuff needs to be said. So I'm happy to be a part of this show.
But
Black News Channel.
It's got to be said in a timely manner, though.
That part.
I know what you mean. Good stuff, though. Jordan Worrell, fellow sportscaster, have a great day, brother. I'll see you on Wednesday. Ivan, OG King Curtis, man, keep up the good stuff with the Nets. Be safe. Keep your papers, dog.
Keep those papers.
Keep those
Curfew's been lifted.
Oh, yeah.
Or keep some ID on you, dog. OG King Curtis. And, of course, the baby girl. She is our little sis.
I like my brothers.
We call it two-time.
I like my brothers.
Oh, put your two-time up there, Dylan. Two-time up there. There it is. Good stuff, guys. We'll see you. Thanks for watching so long from the tri-state areas. Brooklyn, also down there in the A and New Jersey. We'll see you on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern for more Esports Extra.